Hey, what's up everybody? Thought I'd take the Cub out for a ride. It's kind of a nice day. Take you guys along with me. So I got 196 miles on the Super Cub. We'll put a few more on it today. I already had to lube the chain up a little bit. It was starting to get kind of noisy at about 100 miles, but not a big deal. I'm going to do a video of the first oil change at 300 miles. I'll probably show how to lube the chain up as well while I'm doing that. So far I'm enjoying the bike. It's a really nice ride. It's incredibly comfortable. The shocks are a little soft for my taste, but not bad. Seat's pretty cushy. I did about an hour and a half ride on it, and seat started to get to me a little bit, but not too bad. So I would suggest if you're looking at the 125s, if you're looking for the one with the most comfortable seat, that's probably going to be the Monkey. But the Cub's pretty nice. It's definitely not a stunt bike in any way. It is fun to ride, but it's built more for being more of a commuter kind of bike. Just a comfortable cruiser around town kind of thing. I'm going to try to get it down to Myrtle Beach at some point. I was going to go last weekend, but something came up. Downshifted one too many. So a lot of people, I've seen a lot of videos about it, and a lot of people are curious about how you shift on the Cub. It's pretty simple. It does have a clutch, but the clutch itself is the control force built into the shift lever. So it's a centrifugal clutch. So how you shift, since you don't have a hand clutch on the left side like you normally would, that first kind of quarter to half step into the foot lever, that actually actuates the clutch. So it's a little bit of a long throw. And it's not distinctive, but there are two steps to it. So all you have to do is another rider. Well, I'm going another way. All you have to do is let off the throttle, and you don't have to let off of it completely, but let off the throttle. Push the clutch all the way in. Make sure you feel that click, because if you don't want to short shift, and you definitely want to make sure you got fully engaged or got the gear fully engaged, because if you let off the clutch without getting that gear engaged, you're going to come back off of it at kind of a high RPM, and the bike's going to throw itself around a little bit. But upshifts are easy. You just let off the throttle like so. I mean, really honestly, you can just kind of let go of it and click it up. Either use your heel to click down or use your toe to click up. Downshifts are more tricky. They're a little weird on the Super Cub. So they do require a little bit of a grainy shift until you get used to it. So you're going to let off the throttle, push down with your toe, and you got to give it a little bit of a blip as you let up. So don't wait until you've completely released the clutch to try to blip it. That's going to be a rough shift. If you don't give it a little bit of throttle each time you do it, it's going to jerk the bike around a little bit. But it's very, very simple. It's just it's a little odd. The timing's a little weird. It's kind of hard to get used to. My best advice, until you get used to it, try not to downshift too much. You really don't need the downshifting for braking. What I've been doing as I'm getting used to it is just kind of wait until I get to a stop and really downshift. And if I need a little more power to get up a hill or something, I'll downshift it to third, but I usually won't downshift more than that, which you really shouldn't have to unless you're coming up to, say, a traffic light that is red but turns green on you as you get up to it. You might need to downshift into second and take off with it, but it's not a big deal. Like I said, it takes a little getting used to, but not difficult. So power wise, the bike has plenty of power to move itself around. It hasn't struggled at all. If you get a strong enough headwind, kind of like what I'm running into right now, it'll push on that front shield a little bit, and you can feel that, and it kind of pushes the bike back. You're not going to achieve top speed riding into a head. Well, you really want it in any bike, but that, I guess, leg shield, that's what it's called, will kind of exacerbate the headwinds, the pressure you're getting off of them. But if you're coming from something like the Navi, if you're coming from the Navi, the amount the wind's going to push the bike around is minuscule compared to the Navi, which it seems like it'd be pretty close because they're both very light bikes. I think the Super Cub's actually a little lighter, but it does actually have some places for the air to move through from side to side, which is the biggest problem with the Navi, is that storage box, the solid plastics, small rear wheel, the fact that the engine is kind of out back. There's a lot of places for air to catch, so the wind kind of pushes that bike side to side pretty easily. The Super Cub, not so much. You're still going to fight it a little bit because it is a light bike, but it's not too bad. Let's see, with the tires, they are skinny, and it does feel a little weird. Honestly, to me, it handles more like a small displacement dirt bike than it does a traditional motorcycle. Somewhere in between. It obviously rides a lot better than a dirt bike does, but it handles similar to one. But I haven't found the skinny tires to be a problem at all. It stays upright very easily. It's not very squirrely. The 17s front and rear, coupled with those soft shocks and a nice seat, it makes for a really comfortable ride. Fuel mileage, let's see, when I took delivery of the bike, it had 21 miles on it. 3 of them were my test ride miles. It originally had 18 left over from the previous owner, which is incredible. It's really nice for 2021. But it had about 3/4 of a tank, and I had to fill up right at 82 miles. So not too bad, considering it was the first tank in the bike too. I did top it up at 82. Well, it wasn't completely empty at 82. It had 1 bar left out of the 6. Topped it up and was able to get it out to about 130 miles before I needed to actually fill it up. So right now I've got, let's see, 2/3 of a tank left and I've gone 71 miles, which is actually really good. Now I haven't really got onto it on this tank. It's been mostly kind of leisurely cruising. A lot of get it up to 4th, leave it in 4th kind of deal, but the gas mileage is, I'd say, pretty close to advertised. And I don't have anything like intake exhaust or aftermarket sprockets or anything like that done to mine yet. So if you saw, the only thing I've done is the Vans grips and the Puge bar end mirrors, and those are holding up really well. So there's a slight knock to them, and that's going to be any bar end mirrors on the Super Cub. Those dampening bars, when I removed those did definitely serve a purpose. The handlebars are noticeably heavier vibrations in them than with the dampeners, but not bad at all. It kind of just feels like it's a larger bike now, but it does shake the mirrors a little bit at high speed. Kind of everything looks slightly liquefied. You can still pick stuff out easily enough, it's just a little distorted. So top speed, I have gotten mine over 60. Can't tell you exact number. I'd say 62, 63. I think the advertised top speed is 65. I know some people say it's 70, but I can see how maybe that's possible with somebody that's very light on a very flat road with a good tailwind behind you. That might be possible, but I haven't been that lucky. Typically, it'll wind out to about 55, 60 range with no problem and cruise there. And it's got plenty of pep. It's definitely not a powerful bike, but neither is the Grom or the Monkey or really anything in a class of 120 to 150. You're not running into powerful bikes there, but it handles itself pretty well. I could see where an aftermarket pipe, an intake, possibly changing the sprockets out would definitely help it. And I'm not too concerned about losing top speed for going for more acceleration with the sprockets, because honestly I use this mostly around town, and most of our speed limits are cap out at 45, so that wouldn't be too big a deal if I lost a little bit, but it really doesn't need it. It moves pretty good, but it probably could use a little more power. It out a little bit. So I felt pretty good, but downshift here. Came off the gas a little too early getting up this hill. I don't know if you could see the speedo in the frame there, but it only got to about 52. So like I said, sometimes it gets there, sometimes it doesn't. So I was going uphill with the wind blowing my face, so that probably hurt. But compared to the Navi, at least the factory Navi, much better acceleration. Definitely better top speed, much better ride quality. So all the way around, and I don't really think that's much of a question, to be honest with you. The build quality is significantly better than the Navi, but then again, the Navi is an $1,800 bike, so what do you expect? But where was I? Oh yeah. So if you were looking at a Cub or Super Cub, possibly a Monkey or a Grom as your next bike, if you're by the Navi and you're kind of graduating, it's not a bad choice. I just got it because I like mini motos, but if you need something a little more practical, if you're going to go a little bit longer distance, if you need to get well over 50 miles an hour, I'd probably look somewhere at like maybe a CB300R or a Rebel 300, or maybe even jumping up to a 500 as your next bike. But if you're good with Yeah, if you're going to live in a kind of a more urban or city kind of area, then the Super Cub is definitely a good pick. Now, if I lived out in the boonies, or you know, I was going on really long trips back and forth, I'd probably, and say that, you know, I needed a bike specifically for that, it wouldn't be the Super Cub. Now, it'd be doable, and obviously people do it all over the world. There's just definitely better options for, you know, longer trips or longer stretches of country road or something like that, or taking it down to the coast. You know what I mean? But I'm definitely enjoying it, and it suits my needs really well. So I'm probably gonna get into quite a few red lights here, but I don't know. I've got some plans for this one. I'm trying to get the European / JDM taillight and front signals. I'm just trying to find a reasonable price. I did find a kit on B Stock, I think this was called. I'm sure they seem like a trustworthy site. I haven't seen many negatives about them, but the price was around about $450. But it did come with the front signals, the rear tail, and rear signals, which seems like it's probably a okay price. I mean, really all I want is the front signals and the rear tail light. I was going to use some Yoshimura micros, kind of like I did on the Navi, just for a little bit cleaner aesthetic. It means I won't necessarily have to cut holes in the sides of the rear fender just for the turn signals, because the European and Japanese models use or rather I should just say the Asian models use turn signals that are mounted into the sides of the rear fender, and from my understanding there is kind of an outline or a punch out on the inside lining of the fender to show you where that hole is. And I have seen some guys with the American versions have mounted. I just want to well, that's new. Fine Belgian chocolates and gelato. I'll have to check that out with the wife later. Yeah, I just want to make any kind of cuts or anything I do into the bike minimal. And I did have a thought that I might, you know, bob the rear fender. I've just decided against it. I just kind of want to keep the classic retro aesthetic as much as possible. And I honestly, I like the looks of the factory exhaust a lot. It works really well with the bike, but I would like something with a little more of aggressive tone to it, something that might give me a little bit more power. So I'm gonna shop around and see what I can find that looks retro-esque, is built well, and I add a little bit of performance without being obnoxiously loud. The shame of it is I really like the Yoshi pipes for this, but they don't really match, unless you are, I mean, they match well if you're going to chop the bike up, kind of like K-Speed or Steady did with theirs, but I don't think it matches if you're keeping everything kind of factory looking. It just kind of stands out a little too much, but we'll see. I'll shop around, see what I can find, and I may end up with Yoshi just because, you know, just trusted performance and everything. So anyway, if you guys have any questions about the Cub or about that guy that's definitely, wow, that guy's got a problem. I don't know if you can see the smoke coming out of his tailpipes or not. But if you have any questions about the Cub, leave them in the comments below. I'll be sure to try to answer them. And definitely like this video, subscribe, and as always, guys, it's been a pleasure. Hope you enjoyed the video. Later.